Good morning and welcome to yet another Grassroots Office Hours. My name is Chris Lopez. I'm the Director of Development for Grassroots, and I'm, as always, very excited to be here. I love my job, but I love the opportunity to bring new partnerships to our Grassroots membership. And this opportunity is absolutely no exception. This morning we're going to do things in a little bit of a different format. I'm going to start out with a quick video presentation of our new partnership with Updentity. Then I'm going to introduce you to Brandy Coomer, who's the CIO of Updentity, and we'll open it up to a Q&A session. As most of you know, because I think that most of you have been here for our previous sessions, there is a little chat box within your GoToWebinar toolbox. You can chat up questions. I can unmute you. We'll open it up, and Brandy will be here to answer any of your questions. So with that, let me go ahead and get the video started. Okay. Well, thank you, Brandy, for putting that together. I know that, or I understand that there were some audio issues. I think I muted my phone, which ultimately muted the video. For the members that are still there, that is in your toolbox. Let me actually get to... If you go to grassroots.org services, there is an Updentity page there. The video is there. And fortunately for us, we have Brandy here with us. So feel free to, actually, I can drop the link in for you. But we have Brandy here with us. So if you have questions about the service and what it is that Updentity does, Brandy, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, I think that people would love to hear an overview of the product, since I think I muted some of the presentation.
Sure. Basically, what the Google Grant Program is it's up to $120,000 in in-kind advertising AdWords credit for eligible 501c3 nonprofits. So it's a huge amount of advertising that can be given to nonprofits. The grant is a little bit difficult sometimes to acquire. However, our company, we're specialists in helping nonprofits obtain the grant, and then we additionally help them utilize the grant. And the grant can be used for AdWords, obviously, but they need to be mission focused. So it would be things about raising awareness about the organization, donation campaigns. Sometimes our customers will have an event going on and they will utilize the grant to promote event signups or volunteer, something of that nature. And I am definitely happy to take any questions about the grant itself, about AdWords, about how we help organizations utilize the grant. Anything of that nature would be fine. Just out of curiosity, have any of you attempted to obtain the grant or already have the Google grant?
Jane says no. Do you have questions about the grant, Jane? I'm happy to unmute you. She says no, she's just here to learn.
Okay, that's understandable. Well, you know, when you think about that kind of advertising budget, you know, nonprofits, you know, just usually do not have $10,000 a month for advertising credits. I know just as a business, $10,000 a month for advertising is just, it's unheard of. It's such a large amount. What would some of you do if you had $10,000 that you could advertise with? Would you things like use it to not only raise awareness but for donations? Would you have newsletter signups? What would you guys do with it? what could you do with it, I guess. I mean, I think that's really something that you have to sit and think about. What could you do with this kind of advertising budget? Do any of you have some ideas of, you know, what the end goal would be if you had this type of grant?
I'm waiting.
That's okay.
I don't know if they're having trouble finding the chat window. Some people, I think, have found it. Heidi, is it okay if I unmute you? Sure. I'm going to go ahead and unmute Heidi. She has an excellent point.
Okay.
I wonder if people are unsure what AdWords even is.
Well, let's see.
Heidi, we've unmuted you.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know a lot of folks aren't even sure what AdWords is, and when you first start talking about it, they're not sure what you're talking about, and I wonder if that's part of the, people don't know what to ask because they're not sure what AdWords is, where it shows up, how you can use it, what some of the limitations are. You know, AdWords is a huge, complicated program, and if you've never used it or seen it before, it's overwhelming to say the least. And people, most people go to Google and don't even know that there are ads there when they're doing a search.
Okay. Is it possible, Chris, for you to do a quick Google search and then maybe we'll get lucky and I'll show some AdWords in the process? Let's see.
Sure.
How about do feeding the hungry? That's a common mission, right?
Yep.
Okay. So basically, Google is the #1 search engine. You know, people use it so frequently to search for stuff. So say somebody is searching online for feeding the hungry. That's just one that I'm guessing will probably pull something up. So then you can see here up at the top of the screen and over along the right-hand side where it says ad in the gold. Yeah, there. She's kind of got her cursor over it. Do you see, like, it says help feed the hungry, or where Chris's cursor is? It just has, you know, the title of the page, what the organization is, and it has a few sentences about the organization. So go ahead and click on one of those ads, Chris, and we'll show you, you know, kind of like where it takes you.
This one?
Sure, that's fine. And then it takes you to, this is basically a landing page for Feed the Hungry. So those ads that we just showed you, those are spots on Google that someone has paid for. And it can be quite costly to pay for those advertising spots. And they're based on keywords that someone has put in. So that keyword search that we did, feeding the hungry, all of those organizations that had ads for that, they all had basically like a bidding war going on for how much they were willing to spend to have ad placement if someone searches for that word. And it can cost thousands, tens of thousands of dollars a month every time someone clicks on that ad, just like Chris just did. That organization or business would be charged. So with the grant, what happens is that rather than your organization getting charged for having that ad there and for that click, a grant is put in place to cover that fee that you would normally incur. So basically, all AdWords is that those ads that are placed there on Google. And so you need someone who has experience managing AdWords to create a good ad and have a good campaign, to do research about what types of keywords would be best to generate traffic, because oftentimes, you know, the way Chris did of feeding the hungry, many people aren't going to be specifically looking for feeding the hungry. It's great when they do, but a lot of times they would be searching for something that's not as direct. So, for example, maybe someone is looking for information about eating out. And so what our team would do is we would do some research about keywords that people may be searching for that are relative to eating out. And so then when somebody is searching for keywords about eating out, perhaps one of our ads would show and would say something to remind the person that, hey, you know, there's hungry people in the United States. And then that person would see that ad and be like, oh, yeah, you know, here I am thinking about eating out, and there's other people in this world that are hungry. And then they would click on the ad, and then they would see things about your mission. So it's not just about keywords that are exactly what your organization is doing. Our team uses various strategies to help think of the mindset of the target individual that may be searching on Google and try to help get in front of those people so that they see your mission. Does that explain AdWords a little bit better?
It does to me. Heidi?
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
she's
mean,
remuted her.
I know, yeah, I know AdWords pretty well. But yeah, I think that's a good starting point for folks to understand how it works.
Cool. Yeah, that's definitely helpful for me. And our friend Linda here says that was helpful for her as well.
Okay.
And I've actually got a couple other questions lined up for you too.
Okay.
And you remember earlier you were joking about the webinar you were on and the lady with the dogs. I'm going to mute myself because my cat's here. But Jane, I'm going to unmute you. You with us, Jane?
Can
You
you
should
hear
be
me?
unmuted. Yes.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Actually, I really don't have a question, just trying to see if this is anything that would work for us and just getting ideas.
Okay.
Are you able to tell us what your organization is?
Sure. We're Berkshire Environmental Action Team, or BEAT, and we work with the communities to protect the environment for wildlife.
Fantastic.
I guess my idea on what I'd be using AdWords for would be not only making sure that everybody in our area, that's probably I want geographically focused in our area, and to make sure they know what we do and why they should be donating to us.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what AdWords is great for. Even large national organizations can benefit you know, from this type of promotion because everybody is searching on Google. But medium-sized to smaller organizations, it can really just give them so much exposure that they never would have had before. Even very small organizations that are in, you know, they've been in this particular community for, you know, 100 years or something, you know, and they think that everybody knows them. But there are people in the communities that don't know who you are, even if you are kind of targeted to one area and only serving one location. It's the best way to get in front of them, and even more so getting in front of millennials, because, you know, everybody has a smartphone, everybody is on laptops and computers now, and it is the easiest way to get in front of them, because they do Google searches constantly. You know, they use their phones, they speak into it. Everybody's online all the time. It's just it's kind of like a new wave of advertising, really. I mean, it's been there for a long time, but it's like a billboard, you know, only it's the information highway. It's getting in front of all of these people that are traveling along the lines of the internet now.
Does sound good.
Yes, and you know what? I can go ahead and put my direct contact information into this chat form. So if any of you after this have any additional questions, you're more than welcome to send me an email or give me a phone call.
That would be awesome. I'm going to, Jane, if you're all set, I'm so excited at all the questions and things that are coming in. So.
Yep, I'm all set.
All right. Monique, my friend, I shall unmute you, and you're up. You with me? For some reason, I'm having trouble unmuting you. I can't seem to get Monique back here. I don't know why I can't hear you either. But I will, let me get Phoebe going, and then I will run through your list of concerns and figure out how to get you going. Phoebe.
Yes.
Ma'am, how are you?
I'm doing well. This is something that I am a little bit familiar with. It is complicated. Okay. I have spent time on trying to just have the grant side of it approved. 1 minute is approved, the next minute there's an email that says it's not. And my confusion with it has been the ad side, the grant part of it when it is approved. What do you do with the affiliates that you already have on your website, or sponsors and donors that you are advertising because of the sponsorship that they, did for a particular fundraiser?
Well, sometimes there are a list of eligibility requirements with the grant, and so there are times where perhaps something has happened in your AdWords account that ended up causing you to lose the grant. That may be why it appears that you receive the grant and then after a time it goes away, because you have to continue maintaining eligibility in order to continue receiving the grant. They actually disperse it kind of like every single month. So it winds out being to roughly $10,000 a month, and you have to maintain eligibility month after month to continue receiving the grant. Now, as far as any type of sponsors or partners or donors or anything that's on your website, those are fine to leave in place. You don't have to remove anything like that. Some of our customers, they actually will have online stores and such, and so here, they're utilizing this grant fund to drive more traffic to their website, and then sometimes in return they start to see an increase in purchases on the store, in addition to increase in donations and maybe perhaps some additional sponsorship to come in.
Now, what does your company really do? Because, the first time the third time I did it, because I tried doing it on my own. The third time I did it with another company. And the grant just never went through. What does your company do?
Well,
that a nonprofit to be approved for the grant and moving forward to monitor and make sure that it is effective?
Sure, we're specialists in this realm. including we are a Google partner. And so we're quite versed with how to not only obtain the grant, but how to make sure that you continue meeting the eligibility requirements month after month so it doesn't get taken away from you. And we manage the AdWords, but we also create landing pages. We handle all facets of the grant for you so that you don't have to worry about losing a grant, 3 months in or anything like that.
Okay. Okay. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what we do. We are an international nonprofit. We serve women and children of a country that was in war for over 14 years. And a nonprofit, believe me, even though it's 13 years, it still seems like a grassroots nonprofit, but we have done some big things. With that said, have you worked with any international NGOs or nonprofits?
We have worked with some very small nonprofit organizations that were more geo-targeted to location, and we've worked with a number of global organizations and some national organizations. So the answer would be yes. We have quite a variety in the types of nonprofits that we work with. We actually have a nonprofit arm ourselves, so that kind of gives us a little bit of insight that maybe other businesses don't have, because we understand the needs of a nonprofit because we have one ourselves.
Okay, okay. Okay, I have more questions, but I probably will do that offline because I like to know what it will cost to work with Relief Incorporated moving forward if we choose to go down this road once more time. Yeah.
I'm more than happy to talk about our pricing structure if that's okay too, Chris.
Absolutely. I think that that's important. And it was actually another question that Monique had just sent to me. So absolutely.
Sure. Okay. So we have what we call an awareness campaign. It is a campaign that runs for an entire year, and the focus of this campaign is to raise awareness about the nonprofit mission. So basically what's included in that is if you do not have the grant, we will secure the grant for you. We will set up all the various elements, including the AdWords campaigns, the ad grid, keywords. We create landing pages. We create the ads. We basically handle everything for you. And that you can have the page. You can see that's the standard right there. That's the one that I'm talking about that lasts for an entire year. Okay. That pricing is at $1,980. Now, because you all are grassroots customers, we have two options for discounts for you. You can select a 40% discount for the first year, and then you would receive 15% discount the years after, or you can select a 25% lifetime discount. So it's a huge discount because you all are grassroots members that you would be receiving. And we also have, this would probably be helpful to know too, we have a money-back guarantee. And if you, for any reason, do not receive the Google grant, we do give you your money back. So we guarantee that you're going to receive the grant. And if you don't, no questions asked, we refund your money. Now, this bronze here that you're seeing, that is that year-long awareness campaign that I was talking about. And then there's an additional 3-month campaign offered with that. Now, that is that year-long awareness campaign. And then say you want to have a campaign running where the sole focus of that is to generate donations. We would create a landing page that the sole purpose of that is to get people to donate, basically. And we create AdWords groups, the campaign, the keywords, everything is focused about getting your target market to donate. And those campaigns only run for 3 months. So what you're kind of seeing here, you can see like an additional pricing, a silver pricing, where there's 2 3-month campaigns. That would be another add-on campaign. So we have a standard campaign where the sole purpose is to drive awareness about your organization mission. The landing page would click through to your home page, and then you see these 3-month campaigns that I keep talking about. Those are something more specific, something like a donation. Your purpose is to drive donations, or perhaps you want to promote an event that you're doing, or perhaps you want to just get email signups. Each of those add-on campaigns are only in 3-month segments, and so you would need to pay for those in addition to the awareness campaign. Now, some organizations may have multiple missions. Perhaps I can give you one example with a group that we are working with. One of their missions is to raise awareness about literacy, and then they have a separate mission where they are promoting things about books and journals that they have. And so that's 2 of the standard awareness campaigns. So that's something different. Every now and then we have organizations where they really have 2 separate missions, or maybe they have 3 or 4 separate missions. So that's something to take into consideration. If you're sitting there thinking, well, we have, this mission, but we also would like to drive traffic to this other area of our organization. Does anybody have any questions about the pricing structure?
I do have a couple questions.
Sure.
Monique wants to know, can the Updentity cost be taken from the Google grant?
No. The Google grant is credit towards AdWords. So it only covers what you would have been incurring every time someone clicks on one of your ads. Our fee is separate. The Google grant will not cover our fees. So that would be an out-of-pocket expense for the nonprofit. But that's the only expense. And it includes, like I said, setting up everything that's involved in creating the landing page. There wouldn't be, there's not any hidden costs.
I've got another one here. Kevin would like to know, he doesn't have a mic, but he's wondering if you guys set up conversion tracking and work with analytics as well.
Yes. Included in the awareness campaign, and actually the other campaigns as well, we will set up Google Analytics in your website if you don't already have it in there at no additional cost. And we will set up AdWords conversion tracking so that we can see if someone has made a donation as a result of the ads, or if there was a newsletter sign up as a result of the ads. So we do handle both of those. That's just standardly included. And we do report monthly on the status of your grant, what the click-through rate is, how much of the grant you used that month, any kind of conversions, and your analytics.
Pretty sweet, and he said thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you clarify what landing page you're speaking of?
Sure. What we do is based on some of the information that we gather from your website and from keyword research that we do, we create a landing page that is optimized to help promote your mission and target the audience that you need to be targeting. So when someone sees the Google ad and they click on it, they will go to a landing page that we created. We do use something, it's kind of terrible, but it's called a CNAME, so that it appears the landing page is a part of your website. We create the landing page rather than just having them go directly to your website because keywords are very critical in the success of these campaigns. And so we create content utilizing keywords and such so that you have so that your potential supporters have an optimal experience, and then they will click from the landing page through the rest of your site. They really don't even know that they're not on your website because it looks like it's a part of your website, and your website will gain the traffic from that landing page as well.
You've got lots of thank yous in here, and peppered throughout these questions. I'm going to unmute Heidi again. Hi, Heidi. Heidi was dropping in some incredible questions, starting with what can we advertise on Google AdWords? And I think this conversation is just going to go back and forth between the two of you, but I may pipe in a little bit. I think that just the back and forth will be beneficial for everybody. But if you want to start with her, what can we advertise on Google AdWords question, that would probably be a good starting point, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, so what was the original question?
What can we advertise on Google AdWords?
Okay.
And I think you did touch on this briefly.
Yeah. The important part of the ad itself is to keep it relatively mission focused. Now, if you want to collect donations, you can say that directly on the ads. I mean, they don't get really specific about, you know, stuff like that. There are eligibility things. You can't say anything that you want on the ad. I mean, they have various things that you have to maintain in compliance with. You can't use certain words. You can't use like all capitalization and explanation words and stuff like that. But you can basically use anything that is related to your organization's mission on the ad. We've had some trouble. Sometimes an example would be we work with a nonprofit who is helping to make a county drug-free, and so we've had a tricky experience because, you know, they don't want us to use alcohol in the ads or drug-related things in the ad, but, you know, the mission of the nonprofit is to prevent that type of thing. So there are things that Google does not allow you to put in the ads, but for the most part, if there is something that is questionable, you know, we just have that reaches out to Google and explains, you know, take a closer look. This is what we're trying to do. But generally, anything mission related is just fine.
Okay, cool. Next question: are there limitations, and maybe can you expand upon what you mean by that?
Sure. One of the issues that I've had with some nonprofits is if they sell something. So, for example, there's a nonprofit in Chicago that sells scarves and other fair trade items created by women in Kenya, fair trade. And it's, you know, when you get into AdWords, you're competing with anybody else who sells those. So Macy's and Kohl's and Carson Pirie Scott and all those stores that also sell scarves. And so number one, I think it's important to talk about the fact that, you know, you have some limitations on how much you can do in the bidding, and I would guess people don't know much about the bidding, but that there's some limitations there. And then there's also some limitations because Google does not want nonprofits, out of the goodness of Google's heart doing this program, they don't want nonprofits to detract from the businesses that are advertising on Google. So I know there are some sort of limitations that you touched on briefly, but, you know, there are certain things you can't do when you're creating ads because they don't want you to take business away from those companies. So I'm wondering what you do about things like that.
Yeah, the bidding process it's really complicated. They put a cap to where you can't bid more than $2 on a keyword. So when you start talking about some of the more mainstream keywords, or like, for example, you mentioned selling products, you know, sometimes keywords, they can be $10 to $15, even more than that. So, you know, how are you going to compete against these businesses? We are experts with this. We've done quite a bit of research, and we use keyword tails so that we can help make the nonprofit more competitive using AdWords. Also, one of the things that we have found that if there is a keyword that has a really high bid on it, you can actually go ahead and bid on it. Say that the keyword bids out at like $10 or something. While there is a cap of $2, you can still bid that max $2 on it, and what happens is it puts your nonprofit a couple of pages into Google. So your ad wouldn't be, you know, right there at the first page at the top. When someone Google searches, you might be, you know, a few pages in. But we found that that's not such a bad thing, because what happens is when the person goes to the first page and they don't see something that they're interested in, and they go to the second page, still don't see something they're interested in, and they go to the third page, and they do click on your ad, that person is really interested in whatever it is that you are doing. That's the one benefit. So even though there is that $2 cap, you can get placement just a little bit further in. We do a lot to combat that cap with, as I mentioned, like keyword tails. So, for example, rather than something saying that maybe your organization is selling diamond earrings. So just for a while, yes, diamond earrings is probably a really high keyword bid. Businesses that are selling diamonds, anything, are probably bidding a large amount on it. So perhaps we might put diamond earrings set in gold or something like that. That might be a smaller bid just because someone isn't bidding so high on that, what we call a keyword tail. So we add in extra detail to the keyword to allow you to be successful with some of the keywords that maybe someone from your organization, if they had been planning on doing AdWords, might not have thought of. That's where our keyword research and some of the tools that we're using really helps to benefit the nonprofit, because we take the time to research and figure out what it is that may make your keyword bidding more successful than just, you know, the basic keyword that just anybody could think of, I guess.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for the next one? Heidi was on fire today.
Absolutely.
Okay. She wants to know. Oh, are you
ready?
I was going to ask
which one should I was just going to ask which one I should do next. So you can go ahead.
The next one I had on the list was, how do we know if our ads are effective?
Sure.
And I think that was one of those things that Kevin might have touched on a little bit, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the reporting that we do, you know, we don't just take your money and run. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It does happen, but we don't do that. You will receive reports monthly, and in those reports are included examples of the ads that we're running. It will provide you a click-through rate. That click-through rate, what that means is how many people are clicking on your ads. So that's like a huge indicator of how successful your ads are, is, you know, by the amount of people that are clicking on them. And then it shows even more so how effective those ads are when we start reporting on the conversion from the landing page. So someone will click on the ad, we report that, and then they'll click on the landing page and we'll report that. And they'll click through to your website and maybe even click around on your website, and so we'll report on your analytics as well. Now, if you're running one of the 3-month campaigns, such as a donation campaign or newsletter sign-up campaign, something like that, we report on those conversions as well. So you'll actually see, you know, hey, there were, you know, 15 donations this month as a result of our ads, or you received a couple of hundred email signups because of the ad, that type of information. And then you're always more than welcome to give us a call, and we will talk with you about the success of your campaigns as well. Or the lack of success. You know, sometimes it takes some back and forth a little bit because, you know, maybe an organization isn't, you know, the mission isn't something that's on the top of everybody's mind, you know, and so sometimes we've had to go back and talk with the organization a little bit more about their targets and strategize about how the campaign could be more successful as well.
Yeah, I always tell people it could take 3 to 6 months before you really can figure out what makes a campaign work, you know, because you have to explore Google and see what Google likes and see what searchers like, and, you know, people have to be patient.
Well, it's not just that either. You know, the media, various factors that are going on in the world, they affect people's Google search habits. And so maybe something that we were running, you know, 1 month was really successful, and the next month something else that has happened, it causes people to be distracted from that one topic. And so then we have to make some adjustments to those keywords. Sometimes we have to make adjustments to the campaigns. You know, organizations that are focused on helping children, sometimes when school first starts, they take off like crazy because, you know, everyone's thinking about school. And then in the summertime, we have to get a little bit more creative because all of a sudden we start seeing a dip in the success of the campaign. So we're always in there, you know, rolling up our sleeves like, okay, let's think of something different. You know, what's going on with this organization? You know, what's going on in the media right now that might be contributing to the success or the lack of success of something.
You know, I connected to this webinar because I just happen to love grassroots.org, and I'm in Chicago, and I do a lot of pro bono as well as paid work with nonprofits because it's just where my passion is, and I like grassroots because they do a lot of stuff that's really great resources for nonprofits.
Thank you.
And I say that so people know that I'm not like a paid spokesman and you guys didn't invite me to do this, but your prices for what you're offering, and I'm saying this for the nonprofit people on here, I'm sort of an unbiased observer, you know, I like to see what other people are doing in the field. The prices are like crazy, they're so low. I can't even imagine how great these prices are. So if there are nonprofits on this call that are thinking about doing this, what you're getting for the dollar amount per month is essentially unheard of in the space. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, the value of having Google Analytics and having a landing page, if you are getting any kind of marketing and they're not doing a landing page and not doing analytics, web analytics of some sort, then you're wasting your time. So those were the magic words I was waiting to hear from you. And once I heard them, I went, yeah, this is crazy. It's an incredible deal.
Thank you, Heidi.
Yeah,
and really, we didn't place her here, but we love her now. She's my favorite nonprofit member. We actually have a few other questions that I want to squeeze in, and I think that with some of your additional questions that are in here, we may be able to schedule a follow-up session
Okay.
because they're great questions, and we'll definitely make sure we invite you so you can plug us again. But I'm going to put you back on mute, and I just want to get to these last couple questions so that we can wrap up. But thank you very much, Heidi. Hold on just 1 second. Okay, Kevin does not have a microphone. Just checking the limitations. Does this grant allow you to use Google Merchants/shopping feeds in connection with your AdWords campaigns to sell your goods?
I do not think so. You know what? Let me get back to you with that one. Is there a way that you can get his email for me?
Absolutely.
And then I can definitely tell him for sure. I actually am not our AdWords specialist, so I would need to talk with her and see what she has to say. I haven't personally ever answered that question before. I do apologize.
That's okay. We will, Kevin, I'll follow up with you. I'm making myself a note now. And then Tyrese, you don't have a mic, but how can we learn eligibility requirements, easy for me to say, for the grant? Excellent question.
Well, yeah, definitely. You can actually go to our website at any time and check your eligibility. We have a tool that will check to see if your organization is eligible. You can see right there on the site, right, bright orange. It says check your eligibility. If you are an organization based outside of the United States, contact me directly and I can let you know, because our system is only checking for organizations that are located in the United States. And you're always more than welcome. I don't know, like if you can't find your organization or something in there, you can always reach out to me with your EIN and we can check it for you. There's a series of questions that Google has somewhere. Basically, if you're a 501c3 with charitable status, you're not a government agency, you're not an education, you're not a hospital, stuff like that. Those are kind of like
our
the standard
friend
ones.
Heidi. Our friend Heidi has the answer to the question.
Oh, good.
I just dropped it in the chat.
Oh, yep, there you go.
Thanks, Heidi. Oh my goodness, this has been great. Brandy, I can't thank you enough.
Absolutely,
and Heidi
this was fantastic.
This was so much fun, and I learned so much too, and I can't thank you all. I can't thank you, and I'm so glad that you all attended, and this has been truly wonderful. I'm very excited to have you on board as a partner. I'm very excited for everyone who attended, and for those that said that they couldn't attend and asked for a link to the recording. So yeah, I think that's it for questions, and we'll follow up with those individuals. And thank you again, Brandy. Thank you again for all the attendees, and we'll chat soon.